In a world addicted to noise, silence is rebellion. Everywhere you look, sound, notifications, conversations, debates, opinions bouncing around like bullets. We are drowning in distractions, endless content, endless updates, endless chatter. But what if the answers you're seeking are not found in the noise? What if they are hiding in the silence? You see, silence is not the absence of sound. It's the presence of something deeper, something sacred. Silence is where the soul speaks, where your mind breathes, where life finally makes sense. We live in an age of information, yet we've never been more disconnected. Disconnected from each other, disconnected from our peace, disconnected from ourselves. But there is a doorway back to clarity, to calm, to truth. That doorway is silence. When you stop running, when you stop talking, when you finally stop resisting, you enter a space where your thoughts settle, your emotions reveal themselves, and your inner voice, the one you've ignored for years, finally speaks. That voice is not loud. It doesn't shout. It whispers, and you can only hear it in the stillness. In silence, you begin to understand that you don't need to chase peace. You only need to remove what disturbs it. The noise of this world teaches you to react, to be afraid, to constantly prove your worth, to speak, even when you have nothing to say. But silence teaches you presence. It teaches you restraint. It teaches you the difference between movement and progress. There is power in not responding. There is strength in not defending. There is wisdom in not speaking. Most people talk just to fill the void, but the wise know the void is where truth begins. Great minds throughout history understood this. Buddha sat beneath a tree in complete silence and awakened. Jesus withdrew into the desert. Lao Tzu wrote of the day in profound quietude. Gandhi practiced a day of silence every week to reset his spirit. Nikola Tesla, alone in his lab, discovered revolutionary ideas not by discussion, but by silence and imagination. They weren't escaping the world. They were mastering themselves. Because the real noise is not outside, it's inside. That anxious voice in your mind that tells you you're not enough, that compares you to others, that overthinks every decision, that replays every mistake. You've tried fighting it. You've tried ignoring it. But what if the answer was to stop feeding it? In silence, you begin to observe that voice, not obey it, not identify with it, just observe. And that, right there, is the beginning of freedom. Silence isn't weakness. It's strength under control. It's choosing not to waste your energy, not to be dragged into every argument, not to prove anything to anyone. It's the refusal to be reactive in a reactive world. Imagine how powerful you become when nothing disturbs your peace, when you no longer feel the need to explain yourself, when your silence speaks louder than your words ever could. People think silence means nothing is happening, but in silence, healing begins, growth begins, truth reveals itself. Even science supports this. Neuroscientists have discovered that just 2 hours of silence can lead to the creation of new brain cells in the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning. Silence reduces cortisol, the stress hormone. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, helping you rest and recover. It unlocks creativity. It boosts intuition. You start to feel more. You start to notice things others miss. You begin to reconnect with your senses and your soul. You realize that silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. In this world, most people are afraid of silence because it forces them to meet themselves, to sit with their pain, to face the emotions they've buried beneath the noise. But healing doesn't happen by avoiding pain. It happens by feeling it fully in silence. Silence allows you to grieve, to let go, to reset, to transform. You don't have to go to a monastery or a mountain to practice silence. You can do it anywhere. You can practice silence every morning for 5 minutes, just sitting with your breath, without your phone, without distractions. You can take silent walks, no music, no podcast, just you and nature. You can create quiet space during your day, time to simply be, not to achieve, not to scroll, just to exist. And in those moments, something magical happens. You begin to feel alive again. You remember that you are not your titles, not your failures, not your past, not your likes or followers. You are something deeper, something eternal, something silent and powerful. The world has taught you that silence is awkward. But what if silence is sacred? The world says, speak your mind. But what if peace is found by watching your mind and not becoming it? The world says, be loud to be heard. But what if true power is in being quiet and still being felt? Don't be afraid to disappear for a while, to turn down the noise, to turn inward. Because when you come back, you'll be a different person, stronger, clearer, unshakable. Silence isn't running away. It's returning home to the part of you that doesn't need validation, that doesn't need to perform, that doesn't need approval. The part of you that just is present, peaceful, powerful. When everything outside is chaos, be the one who is still. When others are shouting, be the one who listens. When the world demands your reaction, be the one who responds with wisdom or not at all. Because the strongest one in the room is not the loudest. It's the one who has mastered their silence. Let them wonder what you're thinking. Let them feel your energy without explanation. Let your silence do the talking. And when it's time to speak, you'll speak with clarity, purpose, and power. You'll no longer speak to be heard. You'll speak because it's necessary. That's the power of silence. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, don't escape to your phone. Don't rush into distraction. Don't drown it with noise. Just sit, breathe, be silent, and listen. The truth is always there, but it can only be heard in the quiet. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more depth, more stillness, more souls who have touched silence and returned with light. So today, don't just listen to this video, practice it. Turn everything off, close your eyes, be silent, let the storm pass, let the thoughts come and go, let the breath guide you. And in that silence, you will find what you've been searching for all along. Not outside, not in words, but within. Thank you for watching. If this message reached your heart, share it with someone who needs it. Remember, your silence is not a weakness. It is your power.